Hello Whovians, how are you all doing today, and welcome to this new video on all things Doctor Who. I am Owen, and today I will be continuing my DVD collection video with the Peter Davison era. So today, let's move on. Now, Peter Davison's era was very short-lived, as he only had 2 years as the Doctor, and in my opinion a very underrated era, as his Doctor was so light-hearted, so relaxed, and in a way he was very Hartnell-esque in some different manners, and his stories were also quite dark, and the episode I'm going to be talking about will actually demonstrate what I mean by that. So enough babbling, we are going to continue the Peter Davison years with Castraver. Now, this is in the New Beginnings set. This is what this set looks like. It has the Master on the front, as well as Tom Baker and Peter Davison talking about the regeneration of the Fourth Doctor with a Classic Who logo as the BBC DVD logo on the top left, as well as New Beginnings, which has the Keeper tracking, Logopolis, as well as Castraver. With the Fourth Doctor departs, the Fifth Doctor arrives, and the Master returns in these 3 classic 1980s adventures with the 12 logo on the side with a 3-disc set. This is what it looks like from the side. We have the same as usual, New Beginnings, 12 and the 12 logo, as well as Keeper tracking, Logopolis and Castraver. A short word about Castraver. I think it is a very underrated story personally, and it's not the best regeneration story I've seen, but it is a very underrated good one, I think. But we're going to move on to Fourth Doomsday. Now, the first time I watched Fourth Doomsday, I was never really a fan of that episode. I just couldn't get into it. I just didn't like it. But the more I watched it, the more I learned to like it, the more I loved it. And after a 4th viewing, I really enjoyed this episode. I like the concepts. Peter Davison is fantastic as a Doctor, and he has such a nice TARDIS trio, even if Adric and Tegan can be a bit annoying. Next we have Kinder. Now, Kinder is a very crazy story altogether, as personally I think it is one of the most weirdest, creepiest stories, and also has one of the best villains in my opinion, for Mara, a very underrated villain I think. The Visitation. Now, this story right here is such an underrated gem, I really think so. It's got a fantastic villain. It is the end of the Sonic Screwdriver for Doctor Who for Classic Series for quite a while, and it's such a good episode. Now we are going to move on. Now we are on the second to last story for Adric and Mrs. Black Orchid. Now, I know 2 things. Adam Fishwick loves Black Orchid, and the second thing, Peter Davison hates it. So if you're ever on his channel, make sure to comment and ask about his experience of meeting Peter Davison. But basically, Black Orchid is only a 2-parter, so it's a very short mystery Agatha Christie style thing, and it is such a cool story. And in my opinion, I think this story shows that you don't need monsters to make a great Doctor episode. Now we're going to move on with Earthshock. Now, this is the Cybermen's return to the 1980s, and such a bang. And I know Charlie absolutely loves Earthshock. It is his favourite or second favourite 80s story of all time, and it has one of the best Doctor Who endings of all time for the 4th part. And you know what I'm talking about. Just in case you've not seen it, I'm not going to say. But now we're going to move on to Time Flight. Now, Time Flight is one of the episodes that has a really bad rep. And do I think it's bad? I don't think it's awful, but I don't think it's amazing or good. Personally, I really enjoy the story for what it tries to do. I don't think the production is as bad as people say, but what happened in the previous episode, Earthshock, they could have done something a bit better. Apart from that, it's got some funny scenes. The Master is quite funny with some questionable moments. But apart from that, Time Flight is entertaining, and I definitely recommend watching it. Next, we have Arc of Infinity. This is the VHS set, as unfortunately I do not own the actual box set to this, because originally I bought Time Flight on it separately, and I haven't really been bothered to buy the original 2 box set pack. I may buy it if I see it at a cheap enough price, but I'm happy with my VHS set for now. But Time Flight I absolutely love. I think it's such an underrated gem. Omega is fantastic, the 5th Doctor is awesome, Nisa is absolutely incredible, and it's also a really cool way to bring back Tegan into the Doctor's TARDIS crew, after being forgotten in Time Flight. Next, we have Snake Dance. Now, this is the final appearance of Amara of all time. I have no idea if they've appeared in Big Finish, but for what I know, this is their last appearance. Now, Snake Dance to me is not as good as Kinder, but I still think it's a pretty interesting story. A bit slow some parts, but it still has its creepiness it had in Kinder, and it's just an interesting sequel to Kinder, and I have to recommend buying the Kinder and Snake Dance set as two very underrated 80s stories that everyone needs to check out. Now we are going to move on to the Black Guardian trilogy. Now this set introduces the character of Turlo, one of the most controversial companions in Doctor Who's history, because in his first ever episode he's assigned by the Black Guardian to kill the Doctor. Now for a companion entrance, it's questionable because it's not the Sixth Doctor strongly his companion in between them all over again. But I'll get onto that when I talk about the Sixth Doctor years. Personally, I think the Black Guardian trilogy is absolutely awesome. Married or Not Dead, when I first watched it, I absolutely loved it. When I watched it a second time, I still think it's absolutely great. It introduces Brigadier in a fantastic way. It's got some nice timey-wimey elements, very disturbing imagery, some great practical effects, and just a really cool story all around. Terminus is the final appearance of Nisa in the classic series. Again, I'm not sure if she appears in Big Finish. Although people hate the story, I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's fantastic either. Now we are move on to Enlightenment. Now the best thing about this set is it has Enlightenment and Enlightenment Special Edition. Now what that means is it has an actual an area where you can actually have like special effects, updated ones on the episode. So if you're not a fan of what classic series did, personally I don't care because I love the charm of it, then you've got the choice, so it's definitely a great set to buy. Before we move on, this is the Black Guardian trilogy set. This has Peter Davison's Doctor, the Black Guardian as well as Turlo at the side, as the Black Guardian trilogy with Married and Undead, Terminus and Enlightenment with Enlightenment Special Edition. It has a 4-disc set with Turlo arrives, Nisa departs, and the Black Guardian returns to wreak his revenge in these 3 classic 5th Doctor adventures. Again, if you're curious, this is what it looks like from the side. It has the same as usual with Married and Undead, Terminus, Enlightenment and Enlightenment Special Edition with PG, and on the very bottom where you can't see, it has the BBC on the very side. So it's a very nice set and I definitely recommend buying it. Next, we have The King's Demons. Now, this story is very underrated, I think. It's only a 2-parter, and it is a 2-part master story with the 5th Doctor. And it's just a cool story, and this story is also famous for introducing the character of Chameleon. I think Chameleon is a very underrated companion in my, personal opinion. He's not great, but for what they tried to do at the time, they did it well enough. I think the story has an intriguing plot, enough to make me love it the first time I watched it, and really like it now. But we're going to move on to the 5 Doctors. Now, before I get into this is Charlie's favourite story of all time. Near enough, he loves the 5 Doctors, and what can I say, this is my favourite multi-Doctor story, or second favourite of all time, as the 3 Doctors is number 1. But this story is the 25th anniversary episode. Basically, if you've not seen any 5th Doctor, I recommend watching the 5 Doctors first, as this episode introduces the 3 other Doctors, as well as Tom Baker for 30 seconds with Shardar. So honestly, the 5 Doctors, or 4 Doctors as I'm going to count it, is a great story. It's got Patrick Troughton, William Hartnell, portrayed by another actor, but unfortunately can't remember his name. It's got a great plot, brings all the companions back. It's such an epic story. The 5 Doctors is a classic and a half, and you all need to watch it. So now we're going to move on to Warriors of the Deep. Now, Warriors of the Deep has a reputation of being a really bad, awful story that no one wants to actually say or talk about. But here's the thing, guys, don't crucify me for this, but I really like it. I don't think it deserves the rep it gets, and Warriors of the Deep is actually a good story. The Merca effects are actually pretty interesting, and for the time they were impressive. So it has a nice bleak atmosphere, very dark one, as I mentioned at the start of the video with the 5th Doctor's era, and it's just a nice episode all around. Now we're going to move on to one of my favourite 5th Doctor episodes, and that is The Awakening. Now, The Awakening is such a good episode in my opinion. Great 2-part, it's got a nice pace to it, it's creepy, Peter Davis is absolutely fantastic, and my god guys, it's an easy enough watch. Watch The Awakening. Now we're going to move on to Fronteras. This is Charlie's third favourite Peter Davison story of all time, and I have to agree with him completely. Frontiers is completely brilliant. It's got such an apocalyptic atmosphere. It's so dark, and it works so well, and I absolutely love that story. Now we're going to move on to The Planet of Fire. Now, The Planet of Fire is a story I've never been able to get into, to be honest. I have no idea why, just the amount of times I watched it, it's just not a story I've liked that much. But this story is a reintroduction to Perry, and the thing is with this story, the scenes you see on YouTube that the BBC have uploaded, especially one with Turner carrying Perry out of the water and lying on the bed. Them shots are very famous for certain reasons. But Planet of Fire is a story I've never really got into. If you love it, I'm really glad I can find enjoyment with it, but it's not my favourite Peter Davison story of all time. So now we're going to move on to the final Peter Davison story, his generational story, ending his era. And this is The Caves of Androzani. So, The Cage of Androzani is one of the most popular Doctor Who stories of all time. This has been named one of the best Doctor Who stories of all time. And do I think it deserves a hype? It's good, but I don't think it's as good as people say. Now, The Caves of Androzani, in my opinion, is a great story. It's got a lot of good things. The Fifth Doctor has such a great regeneration. He has, honestly, he does. When you're not looking at Perry's boobs, out of all honesty, you're looking at the Fifth Doctor because he gives the performance of his life. The story is absolutely fantastic. It's so dark, and the characters in the story are great. Hi guys, I really hope you enjoyed this Peter Davison video DVD collection update review. I really hope you enjoyed it. Now, I know I missed out Resurrection of the Daleks by accident, I apologise for that, but for my view now, I think it's a fantastic story and a great exit for Tegan. So, my question to you is, what do you think about Peter Davison era? Do you like the era? Do you hate it? Or do you just think it's okay? Comment below, as I'm very interested in hearing. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you all later. See ya.